What's up, guys? It is True Ember, and welcome back to the Let's Just Buy podcast. I got another very special guest. We got Destiny, you guys. Mostly Destiny's, as well as all these other actors that I had on, was also in the production of Cyrano. We're going to go back to that for a quick minute. How was your experience with Cyrano like?
Oh my god. When I started Cyrano, I was so nervous because it was my first college production.
Yeah.
And from high school, I always had that experience of feeling like I didn't really belong in it because I didn't have any of my year that did theater. I couldn't talk to anyone about it.
Definitely.
It felt like I had a lot of seniors that were above me that I felt like, oh god, I'm going to make a fool out of myself if I talk to them.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I can feel that because that's how I felt at the round table, whatever it's called, the reading table, whatever it is, where we just read. That's how I felt every day.
I was so nervous that I was going to be able to see like, okay, yeah, these people are definitely know what they're doing. They are been in this probably for like a few years at least. And I'm going to be this dumbass here. Great.
Stop it.
But when I went in there, I was surprised. I saw people that were like friends and stuff like that, but I couldn't tell who was a first year. I couldn't tell who was a second year, third year. I couldn't tell. Mm-hmm. That surprised me.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we talked about too, is that like we think that we're with a bunch of people our age, you know, and then we're people who are like 20, we're people who are 22,
and that's like at this point it's been normalized for us.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
normal.
Oh, yeah.
But when we first came, I mean, we're from high school, so we're like, oh, we're gonna be with the same kids, same class, like, you know what I mean? But then we see people who are older. Like the oldest I've seen in our production isn't like 24 or something like that, you know?
Yeah, but in Cyrano it was. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But I remember seeing in Canvas, though, like, people having kids, and I'm just like,
yeah.
They're married, they have kids, they have their life together, man. I'm like, what? Why are you here?
Exactly. I've seen that all over Zoom as well, where they're just at their house with their kids and stuff, which is, it's weird. It's weird. So you were obviously in the production of Cyrano. Mm-hmm. What characters did you have?
I had 3 separate characters. I was a pickpocket in Act 1, a soldier, like cadet sort of thing, in a couple other acts, and then I was a cook for the second act. A pastry cook, but I could write poetry.
Pastry cook that writes poetry.
Yeah.
Again, Cyrano's a really, really interesting play, in my opinion.
Whenever I tell someone about it, I tell them it's like, it's Romeo and Juliet, but stupid.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Okay, so yeah, okay, I've asked everybody. How did you feel after seeing your name onto that cast list?
Really excited that I was able to do the first production that I auditioned for, that I was able to be part of it, because I was like, what am I going to do with my time if I can't do theater? Because I've already taken classes, but I would love to be doing theater instead. Definitely.
And okay, and then how'd you feel when the first rehearsal?
First rehearsal, man, that was so long ago. So that
was a while.
It's been like dusted from my brain. I just remember I only had 2 familiar faces there, except for Greg, you know.
Right.
I had his classes for a few times, but I only remembered Nick and I remembered Parker because they were both in my acting 1 class. But I didn't really recognize you until like the second or third day.
No,
because you weren't there.
Well, I wasn't there until the second day.
Yeah.
You know, I got emailed later on, but.
But yeah, I didn't recognize anyone, so I was really nervous, like seeing Alvaro, seeing Michael, seeing all these people that were acting really friendly towards each other, and I did not know them whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it was definitely weird because again, going back to it, I just feel like we're all supposed to be like 19 or 20 or 18, like all together, but nope, it's diversity.
Diversity.
So yeah, Cyrano took 8 weeks.
It did.
Was that draining for you at all? Because didn't you have a job for a little bit of it?
Yes, I can go into that a little bit. So I've actually worked 3 different jobs.
3, impressive.
I worked, and not at the same time because I'm not a workaholic. I'm just in it for the bag, man.
Oh yeah.
But first job I had was at Walmart at the end of like 2020. When at the height of COVID. That was a great idea, but I wanted money.
Right.
It was a good paying job. I was a self-checkout host. If you go to Walmart, you'll see people at the self-checkout wearing vests, and that's what I did. I just stood there making sure people didn't steal. And I quit that job because the management did not have my interests out for me, And they were basically ignoring a guy who was paying too much attention to me.
Ignoring a guy that was paying too much attention to you.
Yep, because he has a tendency to go wander around the store after his shift, go talk to me during his shift when I was supposed to be working. He would follow me to my break room. He'd follow me out to my car. And I was like, yeah, this is not great. So I went to they even gave me a note that was like talking about how great of a person I was and how great of a friend I was. And I'm like, I barely even know you, man. I don't know who you are. And he gave me a second note after I gave the first note to a management. And I was like, hey, I don't like this guy. Please leave him. Please. I don't want him fired. I don't want him like under any problem.
Right, yeah.
I don't want him like in trouble or anything. I just want him away from me. Just keep him away, please. And they were like, okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then the second note, he gave me another note. I didn't even read that one, but I told him, hey, I can't accept these notes. I'm sorry, I feel uncomfortable. He got mad at me, ripped it up, and threw it in the trash.
Right in front of you.
Yep.
And there was no more notes after that. And then
No more notes.
Is that when you quit, or?
No, that was like at least a month into the job. I started working there in July, and I quit in November. So that's how long I was dealing with this man.
So what, like 4-5 months?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I wanted that bag, man. I wanted the money. But I didn't have another job that I could go to.
Yeah. I mean, wait, when was this though? This was in the pandemic, or?
Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
End of 2020. But the harassment, it wasn't really harassment. It was just him following me uncomfortably. But after all that, he kept on following me, messing with me. I kept on going to this one guy that I knew that he was trying to protect me from him because he knew that the guy was being a little bit creepy. And finally, this is where the breaking point was. At that point, I was done. I was tired of being harassed by him. I was tired of being followed by him.
Definitely.
He tried following me to the break room again, trying to apologize for what he'd been doing. And because the problem is that the management wasn't doing anything because I was a minor.
Right.
This is their predicament. I was a minor being harassed by a 24-year-old. But at the same time, this 24-year-old was supposedly on the autistic spectrum. So if they got that guy in trouble, they could be in lots of trouble.
Right.
Yeah. But if they let it be, they could get in trouble because of me. Because I'm being messed with and harassed as a minor. But my breaking point was I already quit. I already put in my 2 weeks. I was a good worker, and I was like, here's my 2 weeks. I'm done. I'm not going to be working here anymore. And I already had a job lined up for next time. It was like a seasonal job at Kohl's. Not that big. I learned a little bit of stuff there, but...
I was going to say, you need the bag, though, so...
Yeah. I worked at Black Friday, though.
Oh.
I worked during Christmas, too, so I was like...
Oh, you must have been busy.
Not Christmas, but like Christmas... after Christmas, for like all the returns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But that breaking point was the day I went to my break, and from all the advice that everyone had been telling me was, oh, just ignore him. Just don't interact with him. Don't give him the light of day. Just let him be. So I'm sitting at the break room, and right across from me, I see him, because I'm watching on my phone with earbuds in, and I see his legs, and he's trying to move his arms to get my attention and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Just going to keep my head down. And then he moves over to my left side, and this is like a round table, so he's like closer now, and he keeps trying to get my attention. I snap. And I grab my phone, I grab my stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Don't talk to me. Don't leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. And I grab all my stuff, and I start walking out. He follows me and grabs my arm to stop me. I scream at him, don't grab me. And that's when a couple of people came out of the break room, saw him holding onto my arm to keep me from walking away. And then that's when everything went weird, because I can't remember very much of what happened, but I do remember that he got away from me. And then I guess either a management went over to him, and then a worker went over to me. I started crying because I was so stressed from her messing with me and talking. I was so stressed out. So they took me to the security office. I told him what happened. And he does tell me, what were you wearing?
The security officer.
Yes. It was like, the undercover security they have at Walmart?
Sure. loss prevention.
Yeah, he's security, and so he's telling, what were you wearing? And thank God, at first in my head I was like, what am I wearing? What am I wearing? Like, excuse me, that was not a correct question to ask. But then he says it's so I can identify you in the cameras, so I can make sure make sure it's you, not somebody else. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was wearing like a blue sweater,
right?
And I was like, but it's a really thick sweater. So, and he's like, did it bruise? And I'm like, well, it's a really thick sweater, so I don't know whether or not it was a hard grip. It could have bruised if I was wearing like a short sleeve shirt, but I was wearing a sweater, so it didn't bruise. So sat there for a little bit, eating a zinger, little like Twinkies, but with icing on top of them.
Oh, those!
I love those. I literally was eating the zinger while he was trying to talk to me too, and apparently there were rumors that I threw it at him, and I was like, no.
Well, even if you did, I probably would have been the right thing to do.
But, so then they took me to the manager's office. Manager has me write down a statement about what happened. I'm fine with that. And I sat there for about like 15, 30 minutes, and this is like the store manager too, like just right under the store manager. This is how serious this was getting. And so the guy tells me, hey, do you want to go back out on the floor? I'm like, I'm not going back out there if he's out there. I'm not doing that. And they're like, but we need you out there. Okay, fine.
They worried about the job more than you.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, would you be willing to work in the back of returns? And in the back of customer service, there's not really returns, but there's items that people give to the cashiers that they don't want anymore. Like you pick up something and you give it to the cashier and like, I don't really need this anymore. And
called go backs.
Yeah, go backs. Yeah, fucking go backs. So he was like, can you organize the go backs then? We'll be back there and there's only one entrance. So if he does try to walk over there, we'll see him and we'll be able to stop him. And I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. My manager, there's separate managers for separate areas at the store, and my cashier manager is like, no, I don't want her back there because I already have someone back there working a shift. And I was like, you aren't getting me out on that floor then. You're not doing that. And he's like, fine. I sat in there for another like 10 minutes.
Fine.
And like, fine. I sat there for another like 10 minutes. And then he comes back in and he's like, okay, we're gonna call your mom. Is that okay? And I'm like, sure. I'm still a minor. And they should call my mom about this. Call my mom. They tell her the vague idea of what happened so that way she gets the idea. And they ask, would you like to pick up your daughter or would you like her to keep working? And she's like, she does the best parent response she could have given. That's her choice. That's my choice, whether or not I want to work or if I want to be picked up. She didn't decide for me. She let me decide for myself because this is my job. I decided to do this job.
That's right.
She didn't harass me to get a job either. So when I was saying I want a job, she was like, cool.
Go for it. Yeah.
Go have fun. I tell him I'm done. I don't want to go back out there. I'll see you for my next shift, And this is like halfway through the second week, so I'd probably be back tomorrow. And he's like, well, I know that you have 2 weeks in. How about this can be the end of your 2 weeks? And we can just let you go. And I'm like, cool. I'm out. Bye.
Say less.
I'm like, bye. So he walks me to the back. I grab my lunch, my stuff, everything like that. He walks me to my mom's car. My mom's waiting for me. Get into the car. That's it for Walmart.
Wow.
Literally, and funny enough, that same exact day, we adopted 2 kittens. It was supposed to happen. What happened is that my mom was supposed to get them at 5 o'clock, but I was working till 8.
Oh.
So I couldn't be there to get the kittens. But the thing happened at like 3. So
you made it on time.
I made it on time to get the kittens. And those kittens are now 2 years old.
What a freaking ending to that story. Just
Kittens!
So, all this happened and then I got 2 kittens at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
that's 2 more animals to my roster that I have.
To your zoo at your house.
Yeah.
What animals you got?
5 dogs and 4 cats.
Jesus. You take care of all of them?
My family, we all take care of them. My mom typically does the feeding and stuff like that. She'll feed them. And we divide the waste amongst each other. Like my dad does the dogs on the weekends. I do the cats every once in a while. The mom does the dogs every couple of days. I do the dogs every couple of days. We divide
so
it
it's
all.
yeah, it's
but
a
they all entertain
group effort.
They all entertain each other, so
that's good.
there's no. We do have one dog that is a little bit like has health problems. And
Oh, geez.
he's old, that's why, and he's a
Right.
German Shepherd. So
Oh man.
you know how that is with older dogs and they're big dogs.
Right. Yeah. No.
German Shepherds actually do a thing where when they get older, their hips start giving out, so they can't walk very well. So he sometimes needs assistance when he's walking, but at this point, his brain is living life better than his body. If you could put that brain into a little dog, he'd be perfectly fine.
Right.
But no, his body's not having a great time.
That's unfortunate. Real unfortunate. Man, and I it's funny because I asked you what job you had, and then we went to that. So that was interesting. But is that the only job you had, or you want to go into the other jobs?
I can go into them. Kohl's, just a job. I didn't really care for it. It wasn't something I was excited for. It wasn't fun. I wasn't around people my age. I was more around like middle-aged women, so I was like, not really that fun. The one notable thing about it is that I knew it was a seasonal job, but I didn't know when the season ended. So at the end of December, I stopped getting shifts on my app. You know how they do it on the app now.
Right.
And I called them and I'm like, why do I not have any shifts? And they're like, oh, it's because we're working on getting everyone set up again. You'll start getting shifts in next week. No shift. I wait another week. No shift. And I'm like, all right, I gotta call him. I call him again, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, you were fired. I'm like, no, I was not. I never got a notice. And they're like, we should have emailed you. You didn't email me. And they're like, oh, well, you don't work here anymore, basically. And I was just like, cool, okay.
So they just let you go without a notice, basically.
Yeah, they just basically dropped me.
And how long were you working there? Like,
Probably a month and a half. Wasn't that big of a
okay,
deal.
so they didn't care.
Yeah. And then the third job was at Walgreens. I have a tendency to work at W places. Walmart, then Walgreens. Wow.
Oh wow.
But the thing is about Walgreens is that I didn't start working there until like April or May, which was like about 4 months after I quit my job, or I got dropped. And my
Fired.
mom, fired. And my mom was kind of harassing me. She was poking me a little bit, like, you should get a job. You should go get a job. And I'm like, fine. And so then I got a job at Walgreens because my mom was harassing the manager about it. And she's like, hey, hire my daughter. And so I worked there for a little bit. It's a pretty chill space. It was fine. Nothing big about it except for, the obvious Karen every once in a while, the job, how it works. Funny enough about the Walgreens, specifically in our town, it's so small that everybody in the store, except for the pharmacy, does everything. We do the cleaning, we do the stocking, we do the cashier work. The managers take care of the money, and they take care of office work. But everybody, if you see a cashier, they probably have stocked. Let's just say that. It's not like Walmart where everyone
has a department or something.
Yeah. But I left there because I was in production of Cyrano. That's how we bring it back to that production.
Finally.
There you go. But I was working there before I went to college. I was already planning on going to Delta before even my jobs.
So you're planning on balancing the school and job, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was able to do that because I told management, hey, you can work me on weekends. You can work me for like till 10 o'clock because I'm still a minor. You can work me till 10 o'clock, but I cannot work on the weekdays. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And they're like, okay, that's fine. So they pretty much gave me an 8-hour shift every single Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Typical. But when Cyrano started, at first it wasn't that bad because there's no practice on Saturday and Sunday. That wasn't that bad. I maybe had to call off like maybe a couple times because of 10-12s, weekend stuff, that sort of thing. But when it came to productions, we do literally, what is that, like 2/3 of our production? 2/3 of our nights were on the weekends.
Yeah, there was times where we had to do the combat. I remember doing that on a Sunday. Saturday was like a prep. I think it was to work on the sword fights.
Didn't we
also
do a character thing where we were working on how our characters moved?
Yeah, I think that was the 10 to 4 that one day. I'm not
Yeah.
so sure exactly when, but I do remember we were working Saturdays, and we had a few Sundays. You know.
Yeah. But when production started and when we started doing shows, those shows were mostly on the weekends. So I had to call off for 2 weeks basically.
Oh damn.
And they were like not happy about that. And I was like, but this is going to stop though. I'm at the end of this, literally the semester will end and you'll have me for like a month. This is like just a trade-off here, you know. I take off a few days and you can have me for a month. Like, that's great. And they kept on ignoring that, and they ignored how I was saying, hey, I cannot work these days. And they scheduled me for those days, and I'm like, okay, I see how it is.
Man.
I see how it is. Turned in my 2 weeks. I actually recorded that, too.
You recording?
Yeah, I recorded me giving my 2 weeks, because I didn't know what she was going to say. So I wanted to see if I could save it for memories. I have the recording still on my phone.
What did she say?
She literally said, as I panned her my thing, I'm like, this is my 2 weeks. She's like, when's your last day? Halloween, because literally my last day was on a production night. If it was exactly 2 weeks later, it would be a production night. And I was like, technically it's Halloween because that's the only day I can work. And she's like, and I was like 2 days later. So I was like, I'm giving you a 2 days notice, basically.
That's good.
So she's like, okay. Enjoy, and has me walk away. I'm like, okay, bye.
So she didn't say anything.
She didn't say good luck. She didn't say anything else. She just said, okay, bye. That's it.
That's it.
We're gone.
And then you worked the 2 days and you were done, or the?
Yeah, I worked the day, and that was my last day. I just left.
Gee, you haven't had really many great experiences.
Yeah, well, I got a great experience right now. I got a great job right now.
Oh, and yeah, you got like the best job of all time, which is I'm a little jealous about. But well, how's that going so far? How's your new job
Oh,
going?
my new job. I work as it's titled a general helper because you can't put social media assistant as a job.
Social media star, you know.
You can't put social media assistant as a title for the HR office. It's not really a thing.
Right.
So general helper is what he put me down as. Basically what I do is I just help everybody in the drama department, like Kevin, Greg, Jonathan. If they ever need me to do anything, I can just pop in and be like, hey, what do you want? I need you to like send these emails or something like that. I can do that. But most of my job so far has been taking care of the social media posts on Delta Drama, Instagram, and Facebook.
Especially that and then there were none was
Yeah.
just played. So
Let's just say the one post that was of the script, that was my first post. So from there on was mostly me.
the script,
The script of, and then there were none. I took like a cool shot of it on the table.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say the casting list. I was
No.
like,
It was too late for that.
right.
That hiring process sucked.
Did it?
It sucked.
I thought it would be the easiest thing ever.
No. Here's the thing. It was easy to get the job. It was easy for Greg to be like, yeah, you're trustworthy. I'm taking you.
Right.
And especially the thing is with that job, it was a financial aid job. And what that was is that you had to already be qualified to get financial aid to get that job because it was a federal aid job. So that meant if you weren't getting financial aid from the government for school or anything like that, you could not get this job. It was not allowed.
Really?
And I was already getting financial aid because I was smart and did my FAFSA thing.
Yeah. No, my mom was bothering me about that.
Yeah. I already did my second year one because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm just gonna.
We got
get
that
it
done. Yeah, we got that done like a week ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It's helpful though.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
I mean, I haven't had to pay for any of my classes.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm pretty sure after the 2 years, isn't it over?
Yeah.
So coming in close. But yeah, so now you're just taking care of social media, Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah, and especially with everybody, I'll be able to be there, and
Oh, it's gonna be a lot easier for you now.
Yeah. It's gonna be so easy for me because I just need to show up with another camera and be like, smile,
Yeah.
like I'm here now, smile.
Yeah. And now that also for me, I have a lot more time now to make a trailer for this one. So But it's weird though. Okay, then we're going to go back on everybody,
Yeah.
which is the play that we're in.
Yay.
Finally,
We're both ensemble.
we're both basic. We're both like very similar characters.
Yeah.
And we come in at the same time and we leave at the same time. So,
I hope Greg like puts us near each other so we could just be like chatting.
honestly,
during
we'd
the
just
show.
be like, look at these guys.
Look at these nerds. Like, man, imagine being in theater. And then just like time to rise, blackout rise.
We're all just standing heroically as the lights come up. Just so everyone's clear, my characters are I play the letter C, which is great. I play a skeleton, and I play this character named Strength, which is real fitting, I would say. I'm
character B. I play senses, and I'm also a skeleton.
Yeah, and
I get a bottle of wine, man.
I get a sword.
I get wine though.
I get a sword. I'm hella excited about that. I'm really excited how Bree's gonna look, because she's beauty, and in the photo they were showing us had like
flowers in her hair,
flower crown, and then like she was just a flower altogether. So I was like, that's gonna be a really interesting look. And
the guy across from us is the mind guy. We don't really know him.
Well, no, we don't. But he's also a coming back actor.
75% of the cast is coming back.
Yeah,
we don't know who these people are.
So basically, okay, to give you context on that, everybody was a play that was going to be playing at this time, but 2020, and obviously at this time, this is when COVID first struck, and they were only a weekend process, and then they had to actually cancel it,
and that kind of production cannot be put on a Zoom. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was one, but Zoom productions, I don't think
they should not work.
No, I mean, obviously Delta has done some. Like I had Cody on who was talking about his experience on it. I had Kayla on who talked about her experience, but no, they would rather be on a stage.
Yeah, definitely.
So everybody was supposed to play at this time, and all the actors who were laid off, they had a chance to come back, and 75%, was it, or 65?
It's like 65.
65% came back. We already knew like a person or two. We knew Alvaro, who played Cyrano in Cyrano.
Yep.
And then some other people like I've seen around, but we were new to the cast. It was me, you, Bree, Camille,
John
Michael, and
literally, and Alvaro.
That was it. That was it. And us five were like, we're fresh.
Line.
We're all here. Like I think Bree's been here for a while, but we've all been. We're all here, we all just started while everybody else has been in high school, has been in college for
at least 2 to 3 years.
Yes, or was there for 2 to 3 years.
And some of them were like coming from like Sacramento and like driving all the way over there just to be part of this production.
Right, and we're over here on this like news side. We're just like we're here.
The way that it was formatted is that it was like it was a square, and then you had like Greg over here, and then his stage manager, pretty typical setup.
On one side of the table.
Yeah, on that one side. And then on a whole other side, we had a whole line of people that knew each other. And then on another side, right next to that side, another line that all knew each other. With Alvaro on the way in, but I was sitting next to Turtle. I didn't really know him, and I was like,
hi.
Hi, how you doing? It was so funny. That first time I met him, he sits down, and Alvaro was talking with him, and then he sees me. And at first he tells Alvaro, he's like, hey, what's up? I'm doing that whole like, hey, man. And I look over, I'm like, hi. He does a high-pitched hi, too, and I'm just like, what?
What is this?
But...
and then the last line of the square.
Us.
Yeah, it's us, all like lined up, and we're just like, okay, well, we don't know any of these people, so... it was funny at first, but, I mean, we're going to grow to get to know them,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, they're going to have to get to know us.
I guess, and I'm really excited for the skeleton dance.
At least we're going to be able to interact with them, too, because we're... senses, skeleton, A, B, C, D, A, F, G, H, H.
Yeah, I think we're gonna eventually have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to interact with everybody at one point. It's gonna happen.
At one point in time, yeah. So I'm excited for that. But
I'm so excited for that quick change, though.
I'm excited for the skeleton dance. That's what I'm really excited for.
Dude, I don't want to break my knee though.
If that happens, it'll just add in more of the effect.
Yay!
So.
Just for a little bit of context, my knee is bad.
Oh.
I have a bad knee. Do you remember Cyrano?
Okay. Let's talk. Okay, hold on.
Let's go back to Cyrano.
We're jumping back and forth, but this is all theater related. So, what's it called? I just remember too that happened too. There was a few things that happened that night, or the performance nights that
Look, my knee thing happened on like a practice show. It was not a performance. Because I would not, that would have been stupid if it was a performance. Because I didn't even go on the stage after that. Because Nick wouldn't let me.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. No, he took too much care of you.
Ugh.
So, so how did that happen, or what even happened?
Oh my god. Okay, so there was a point, I believe, I'm trying to remember what act it was, because it definitely wasn't Act 3. Oh, that's all I know for sure.
It wasn't, no, it was...
Act 2?
It was Act 4.
Act 4.
Because I remember, like, literally,
yes,
we were about to do the fight scene, and then all of a sudden, Alvaro was like...
Destiny
just broke her leg. She didn't say that. He didn't say that, but...
So what happened is that, you know how theater is, where you got to get to the other side of the stage ASAP. And I had a moment where I was trying to grab a prop that somebody didn't grab for me. And that was supposed to be at a certain spot. And I was running to that other side to grab that thing. And I pivoted on my knee, and it just buckled hardcore. And I fell onto the floor right next to the door. And I was like, this is not good. This is not great. This is not, no. And so I managed to push myself up. I'm on the floor at this point. I cannot get up. My knee is in absolute pain. I push myself off the floor. I grab the handle, and I pull the door open as much as I can. I'm holding the door open. I'm waving them down because I don't want to scream, because it's during a production. So luckily, somebody sees me, and they start running over, and they're like, "What happened?" And I couldn't even remember. It was all a blur at that point. And next thing I know, Jonathan's helping me into a chair. He's trying to help my knee. Like, he's trying to make sure I'm not dead. And then Nick gets the news, because he's fight choreographer, and he's...
Fight captain.
Fight captain. Not the choreographer. Captain. He's fight captain. He's helping Greg and stuff like that. He gets word of this real quick. And he runs over and he's like, what did you do? Because he knows I'm stupid. He knows I'm stupid. And I'm like, I buckled my knee. And he's like, what? I tell him what happened. And then the rest of the performance, I was just absent. I don't know how you guys... did the rest of it.
There wasn't even much left.
Yeah.
Again, I could have sworn it was when was it?
It was like right before the fight. So
yeah, it was right before the fight. So the only thing I just remembered is just you, and oh my god, it was honestly better for me because if you remember, you're fighting. I think it was you're fighting Alice, aren't you?
I was fighting Alice.
So when you guys,
Alice actually was in my high school. That's why I was
I
talk with her so much.
I remember you guys all.
Kayla and Alice were both in high school with me.
Lodi High School, yeah.
Yep.
But while you guys were like fighting, obviously like it was we were supposed to be acting like we're fighting, so we're supposed to be like yeah, you know, and stuff like that. You guys were so loud, I couldn't hear Kayla's cue.
Kayla needs to be louder then.
Because Kayla says Christian like 3 times, and before I'm supposed to wait for the second one, and then right before she says the third one, or no, after she says the second, that's where I run on stage, and then third, that's when I say my line after she says all 3 of them, right? But you guys are so loud, I couldn't hear if I remember one night where because it's like Christian, and then like I waited and I didn't hear anything, and I was like, did I just miss my cue? Because like you guys were so loud, so you know I was like, you know what, screw it, just go. And then she said it one more time, and I'm like, I didn't. Okay, cool. And then that's where I went. But that one night was the easiest out of all like 6 nights. So
theater is about being loud. If you were struggling with hearing the cue, you should have told Greg, and either he would have told us maybe you should be a little bit quieter, or tell Kayla you should be a little bit louder.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a big problem. I think it was just more of a personal issue.
Yeah.
My hearing aids are off, so.
Theater's about being loud, and you can't just go into a battlefield and tell someone, "Can you guys be a little bit more quieter?"
No,
I can't hear my captain.
The only thing I can probably said was Kayla be louder, but she was already loud as it is. So, but no, she was doing great. It was just something personal. Another like incident kind of like that where Kayla missed me. Oh, not really, but I told her, my interest as Carbone, everything's supposed to go like quick. Everything is supposed to go smoothly, right? So you remember the scene with Cyrano and Roxanne? They were just like in the bakery together in Act 2, right?
Yes.
So they're over here like, oh, like Roxanne's like, oh, I love this man, and Cyrano thinks it's him, but it's really Christian, right? They got that whole scene together, and then as Roxanne's leaving, right, she says her last line. Cody, who played Ragano, he comes out from the other side of the stage and starts saying his like dialogue or whatever, saying like the
Yeah,
voiceover, right?
the monologuing.
The narration basically. And so it's supposed to be as he comes in and he has like Carbone, this or whatever. He says my full name,
Yep.
and then I start walking on stage. Don't forget, Roxanne, Kayla, has this dress that
Poofy,
feels
yeah.
like 20 feet long, right?
Keep in mind that I had to bring in fans, and Kayla would usually sit on that fan because it was so hot under that dress. That's how much fabric and
there's so much
stuff
on there, yeah.
was on that dress.
So as what is it? As Kayla's coming off, Ragano Cody is saying his narration. I'm supposed to, as he says, literally at 2 seconds, I'm supposed to go in. I keep saying their character name. Kayla is coming back, right? And she has her dress, and I can't just like step on her dress or like because she's still there. She's
on a dress.
so I have to like basically almost sprint out of there to get in my queue because the lighting comes up. There's spotlights, and I have like I can't miss that. So so that's another like incident that happened. But there was one like major incident. Oh my god, do you remember the curtains?
Was that the thing where the curtains like they were either supposed to go down or
so they were okay. So yeah, so basically the curtains were supposed to only the first act. The curtains closed sideways.
Yes.
They opened up, a little bit. They opened up all the way.
And then we had like that big black screen
And then-
that went down.
And then it's supposed to close the same way. But and then every other act is up and down.
Yep.
But I guess when they forgot about that, when it opened up all the way, the stage crew or whatever, they brought down the curtains. And the curtains are heavy, so you can't just like forget that and then start closing them because they're gonna still we're gonna be weighing down, and that took so long. Do you remember that?
I kind of do. Like it's foggy, but those moments make it feel like it's taking like hours to fix. But at the same time, when you're outside of it all, you're just watching it, and it probably took like 20 seconds. But in actor term, 20 seconds is forever.
It takes it's deadly. Like, and I remember Kayla was talking about that too. She said that while her and Cody have like that again the narration, she was taking like her time with everything just so that we have enough time to put everything
She's
back.
considerate of that stuff.
Yeah, she sees it. I mean, well, she's been performing for I don't know how. She's been performing. She was in like 5 or something.
Yeah.
I remember she was in like in Kudos and everything.
She's in a couple productions in high school too. I know about that.
Right. And then, but she was also an actor beforehand as well. So
Fun fact, she graduated a year before us all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what she did, but she was able to graduate before, because she's in my year. She's my same age. She was a junior when I was a junior, or like that sort of thing. You know?
I thought she was older than us.
No, she's my age.
Okay.
But
Okay.
she graduated when she was a junior because she apparently got enough credits to graduate. I couldn't recall exactly how she did it.
That's good.
But she was able to graduate, and she went to Delta for a year while I was a senior, and then that's when we collided again.
Okay. Well,
Just fun fact.
really fun fact. I'm gonna have her on literally in a few days.
Ooh.
Can't wait for that. But okay, so but yeah, so that happened, and then the one whatever incident that didn't mean anything that's still bothering you to this day.
Am I explaining this incident?
Yes, you're gonna explain this incident.
Great.
You're gonna
Is this like therapy?
Yes, this is an intervention. I want you to explain everything that's going through your head,
Yeah.
and then I will respond from what everybody else saw.
Oh my god. So there's a scene in
Act
Act
two.
2. Yep. I hated that. So Act 2, what happens is that originally where all the cadets come on stage and they have a fun time. There's a whole Bold Cadets of Gascony. I loved that. That was so fun to do. Bold Cadets.
Yeah, that was fun. I like
Really,
that.
I like that. That was really fun.
Right.
Especially the points where we get to cheer. Not me avoiding the actual incident. Okay, but here's the thing. It was on a production night. And I think my parents were at that production night with
That made it even better.
with my aunt there as well. And
Oh,
she came
jeez.
all the way from Antioch, which is like 40 minutes away. So
Right.
not all the way, but like that's a pretty big distance for a woman in her 60s. But so as I'm on stage, there's a point where most of the cadets are hanging out at the like prep table. I think it's like a dinner.
A
slash
dinner
prep.
table, basically.
The cooks were making stuff at it, so I'm like, it's a prep table at this point. But we're sitting there, and there is a cue that happens where Frankie has to say, now the tail, to encourage Cyrano to tell them about saving Linier.
I think. Wait.
That's the tale.
No. I know the cue, but I thought it was Sabina who said that, didn't he?
No. That's Frankie. Because I remember he's right next to me. Sabina doesn't say that.
Oh, okay. It's probably something else, but
yeah, Frankie right next to me says that. And so what happened is that while we were waiting for the cue, we're eating. I literally have my mouth full of croissant because I love those croissants. And for some reason, the silence felt a little bit longer than what I felt like it should be. So I was like, did Frankie miss his cue? I wasn't really paying attention. Did Frankie miss his cue? I'm going to save this. And I blurted it out. And after I blurted it out, my brain came back to the production and I realized what was going on. I'm like, I said it before. I'm not great. This is not great.
Shut down immediate.
Yeah, so then everyone obviously is like, wait a minute, what are you doing, Destiny? In my eyes, everyone has this whole, like, what are you doing vibe.
So, I don't want to speak about anybody else. Obviously, there was nothing. Here's the thing. You were just 2 lines ahead. That was it.
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge scene.
It wasn't. There wasn't no other light cues.
Oh, I think it was when he was supposed to walk over to you and that captain and
the reason I hated it was because you took my lines. So I'm kidding.
It was that pause that got me because usually he says captain as he's walking over, but at this point he was walking over without saying anything. That's what happened.
Right.
So I was like,
so you obviously, it just felt too quiet to you, which is, it's understandable. You know, it's always, we're supposed to be moving swiftly, you know? So the scene is supposed to be Joseph, who plays Christian. He comes in, right? He's this new recruit, right, for the team or the army or whatever we're in.
The bold cadets of Gascony.
The cadets, whatever. 2 people go greet him, Parker and Mark. They go greet him. You know, they're like, oh, this and that. You know, thank you for joining the team.
Don't mess with Cyrano. Thanks for joining the team, but don't mess with Cyrano.
It's like Cyrano's all this big guy and everything, right?
Who knows?
Then Christian comes to Captain, right, which is Carbone, and he's all like, you know, how do you know, what was it? It was like, how do you
mess with a guy from the South or something like that?
Yeah, and then I remember like I basically tell him you got to be brave. You know, you got to be
bold.
You got to be bold and brave. Justice. I didn't.
I wonder what your character was thinking at that point, thinking like, oh yeah, he's just asking a simple question, or he's like, I want to start shit. I want to start something.
It can go either way. But that's all I had to say was that, oh, you just got to be strong, and he just says, oh, thank you. That's all that was missed. When you blurted out the line, it was like that the reason I'm saying that now is because then you must have felt like a big deal, but it really was not. I can guarantee you ask anybody who's in production, and I feel like if the general audience doesn't notice it, and then it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, at least me blurting out, it caused Alvaro, it kind of threw Alvaro off his groove, so it was like an actual the tail.
Yeah, the tail. And then honestly, this is how I felt. It to me, I was just nervous right then and there because, you know, obviously, you know, there's no lines. You have to improv. You have to just go. But we didn't take improv. I didn't know any improv, right?
I knew improv. I took improv in high school.
I didn't. And this is my first like actual real production. So right then and there, I kind of froze. Luckily, quick thinking Parker was all of a sudden it was just the tail, and then since 2 people said it, that created a pattern where everybody else started saying it, and then, you know, we just skipped over those 3 lines or whatever, and then here comes Cyrano telling his story. So
after that scene, when everyone was allowed to walk off, at that point it was like an allowed for me because I was like, I want to get out of here. I want out of here. After I walked off that stage, I was like, I walked away because I knew that I didn't need to be on stage for at least another act. So I ran off and sat in the stairwell and just.
I found you there.
Yeah.
I remember I found you there.
I remember checking my phone and people were trying to message me. Like, I think Frankie tried to message me asking where I was. I didn't answer because I was like, I'm not in a good mood right now. I'm not in a good mental state.
The only person who was really trying to look for you was, I remember Jackie was like hunting you down hard.
Because she was like, where is she?
Exactly. And I'm guessing she just needed things to prepare and wanted to talk to you. Obviously, again, it was nothing big, but I guess it must have been big in your eyes just because it's like, you know, there's not.
I took a line that wasn't mine. And that's what the big thing was for me. I was like, why did I speak?
I honestly, if you ask Frankie, I don't think he'll care either. Like, you know, it was one line. So the only thing I'm upset about is that I didn't get to say my lines. You know, and I was excited to say my lines, but no.
You get to say the line for all the other nights.
Yeah, I did. No, so I'm okay. But yeah, that was really the only incident we really had with Cyrano. I mean, and then every other night was good. I remember on our, I think it was our third night. You know the balcony that Cyrano and Christian are on?
Yes.
There was one night where me, Mark, and Frankie were all supposed to, you know, there's like locks in the ground that we're supposed to bolt into.
Did the locks not go in?
We didn't put the locks in.
Oh, God. You could have killed Kayla.
We could have, you know, they could not be here now, but luckily they have some great balance and
could have killed her.
Amazing actress and actor.
Especially like literally Christians climbed up the side of that thing. You could have killed them.
There was only one lock that was not placed.
Okay.
So it was at least somewhat structured, and we told some of the people backstage, and you know, some people who were not in the scene obviously were back there and holding it, you know, in place. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was still one of those things that like, you're never gonna know this until we talk about it, you know.
Yeah, but in our eyes, it's like just a tiny hiccup.
Yeah, no, definitely.
There's a lot of there could have been so many. There could have been so much worse things that could have happened during that production, but at this point, everything was just hiccups.
Do you have a favorite performance, like night?
I
have one.
You have one. I don't. I tend to like merge stuff. So at this point, all the production nights have been merged into
one.
Yeah.
One
my
singular
least favorite was the one where I did the fucking line. That's my least favorite right there. But
it's okay.
Literally, probably the only notable thing about the production nights, my favorite thing was watching the Chinese dramas. that
Oh my
Jackie
God.
put on her computer. Okay, so in the green room where all the actors hang out when they're not on stage, nor are they supposed to be on stage ready, you know? The actors hang out there to maybe get dressed, to get changed into another piece of clothing, or to just sit and wait because it's quiet back there, you know.
Right.
The audience won't hear you. But I was back there for a full act, so I got to hang out back there for a little bit, hanging out, talking with people. And Jackie brought her computer one day, and she started watching this Chinese drama, and then one of the costume designers started watching it too. And then I was like, what are we watching? And then it turned into like 3 or 4 or 5 people watching this Chinese drama about the CEO.
Do you remember what it's called?
No, but I know the plot. I know the plot. I don't care about the title. I was like, the plot.
I do remember every now and then people would be saying me like, oh, now he's with him, like something like that. Like
we had like nicknames for them because I couldn't remember their names. I forget what the nicknames were, but we were just like, that's that man. That's the man or something like that.
Oh my God.
Because everyone looked similar, so we were like, that's the man right there.
Yeah, there was a lot of behind the scenes stories, shenanigans that happened.
Egyptian
War was one great thing, which is a great thing you brought the cards, you know. Solitaire was fun.
Yeah.
I play that almost every night. And then eventually I downloaded it on my phone. So Egyptian War really started it started one thing.
It's what happened. I was not the one that brought Egyptian War into it, but I did bring war.
You brought the cards in. It was Sabina who brought the Egyptian.
Yeah,
War.
So she brought the Egyptian into this. So I brought cards because I was like, we're gonna be hanging out backstage anyways, and they're gonna be doing a performance. Might as well play cards, you know? Because I remember playing cards in high school too, in the back. But what happened is that we're playing, and then Sabina is like, hey, do you want to play? And I was like, yeah, we could play like war or something like that. And we start playing war. And we start like going faster. She's like, do you know how to play Egyptian War? And I'm like, what's Egyptian War? She teaches me. We start playing Egyptian War. We're going. And then some people start watching us, and they're like, what are you guys playing? Oh, we're playing a game called Egyptian War. You want to join? And then it just turned into this whole half the cast is doing Egyptian War. It turned into points where people would go off stage at one side and then bolt it around the other side to get to this table.
That was that was me.
People are passing cards to each other whenever they have to go on stage. They pass their card to another person. And they're like, here, take care.
Yeah, take care of this. Here.
And the fact is that when there's that many people, like at least 5 or 6 people that are playing Egyptian War, no one ever really gets kicked out, especially with our rules that if you join a game,
Yeah, so our rules is that the only way to win is if you manage to just collect all the cards.
Yeah, which is
but
impossible.
even if you run out of cards, you can still like
Tap
slap in. Yeah, so that's how different war is. And that game, there were games that lasted forever. Like
it was the fact because people kept on passing it to each other and continuing the game over.
Yeah.
I remember somebody got your cards and you came back and you were like,
and I had a whole nother stack with me. I was so happy about that. Yeah, that was amazing. That was fun. I do. What else was there? Oh my god, the wigs.
the wig. I didn't have to deal with the wig.
Yeah, you guys didn't have to deal with wigs.
All the males having to wear wigs. That was really.
It was
funny.
great, bro.
It was so funny to see you guys first wearing wigs for the first time because you guys aren't used to that. But
no.
at this point, women are used to having longer hair. We're used to doing that sort of thing. But you guys having longer hair, you guys were like,
Me, who was it? Me, I knew already. He already had his most of the time.
See.
It was Joseph, me, Cody,
Yeah.
and one more person. Oh, Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen Aaron in a while. Need him back. But yeah, us four, we had our wigs on.
You guys had like a million bobby pins into that thing.
Dude, that was the most annoying thing ever. Was those damn bobby pins, bro. It was. They had like 5 on the side of our head here, on top of our head, like a good 8 just going down the line, and I was, and then in the back of the head. And that was only for like the hair net or whatever.
And
they actually put the actual.
I know for a fact that wigs are itchy and they're hot. I know for a fact.
They were just hot. They weren't. It wasn't bothering me like itchy, but it was just.
And the fact that you couldn't take that off for the whole production either. It wasn't like a costume piece that, say, if you were feeling a bit overheated, you could just take off a piece of your costume.
No, that's stuck on you for the whole night.
This thing is on, and you had to stay after the production to help get that off your head.
It took us a good 5 minutes just taking all those freaking bobby heads and then eventually taking it off. That was annoying, but
the first time you guys wore those wigs, though, I remember we were comparing Cody to all these different characters.
Cody looked like some 80s rock
Link.
star.
I think he looked like Link.
Oh man, but it was so good. Cyrano was our college debut, I guess you could say. It was great. It was a good one for our first one, I would say.
And then we started Everybody.
Now we're starting Everybody. Should be coming out. Performance should be out April 28th is the first open night, and then May 8th is our last night. So it's the same thing. I don't know if all productions are the same, but production performances are going to be on weekends. So
with one Friday, it's Fridays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. and then Sundays at 2 p.m.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. But, there's obviously a lot of performance. There's a dance number in it, which I'm really excited about.
I'm so curious how friends and family are going to be coming to this show. And, I already asked Greg about it. Are we... And, I know how he told us about how we're going to be joining the group and stuff like that,
right.
How that's going to work. But the fact that we're integrated into the audience... If I know that my friends support me in theater, so they went to Cyrano one night, and I'm so curious how they're going to react when I walk over there.
Right.
See me and be like, so what are you doing here? And it's just well,
that's a little
seeing the show.
That's a little sneak peek. Is that we're going to start in the audience, which is it's going to be interesting because it's everybody. If you guys don't know, it's a lottery. It's a gamble. I don't really know how to say it. It's basically
bingo.
the main actors, the main people are going to see on stage. They don't know who they're playing until that night. At the beginning of the night, there's a lottery. They all get chosen a role randomly, and then they play that role for the night. Mm-hmm. So if you can't, it's really unique because if you can go one night and see these actors perform, then you can go another night and it's a whole different set feeling. You know what I mean? So, but obviously there's some fixed roles already. There's God, there's Usher, there's Death. There's
Understanding, Love,
and then obviously the ABCD ensemble. But it's exciting. And again, we're finally back into production. It's gonna be a lot easier for you. So then you're.
My job is the production.
Basically, and you're supposed to be there already. So.
And especially Greg's there too, so I'll be able to work closely with him about that.
Exactly. And now that and I did the trailer for And Then There Were None, and that I only had 2 weeks to work on that. It was a good thing if I do say so myself.
I didn't even expect that you were doing a trailer. When suddenly Greg emails me and he's like, "Hey, Carlos put together a trailer. Here you go." I'm like, "Oh, post. There we
He
go.
didn't let you know about it?
He didn't let me know that you were doing that. All I knew is that I was supposed to do a radio interview edit, which I did. It's posted.
Right.
But I didn't know you were doing a trailer. So when you did the trailer, it actually was like a godsend that you did, because I wasn't finished with the radio interview yet.
Oh,
And I was supposed to post it in like a few days. And
wasn't it with Megan?
Yeah, Megan and Casey. And I wasn't finished yet. And I was like, oh, great. I'm really stressed out now. And then Greg messages me and he's like, hey, send out this trailer. And I'm like, okay. I see I have been gifted.
You've been blessed.
I've been blessed. I go to the next day. I'm talking with Greg and I'm like, I think it's a great idea that we put out Carlos's. I think it's a great idea if we put Carlos's trailer out like now. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, because it makes sense because it's before the productions.
I heard you guys talking about that.
Yeah.
I really wanted to just barge in there and be like, so what are you guys talking about? Like, because I heard you were talking about my trailer, and then I remember Greg saying my name, and I was like, what are they? I'm so curious. I was with Mark outside of the classroom, and I was like,
I want to know what they're talking about.
what are they talking about?
We mainly just talked about the trailer and then talked about what that means for posting. So what I basically said was, you get to finally know what we were talking about.
Finally.
We were mainly, I was excited that you did that. I was really excited. Especially after I watched it, I was like, it's actually really cool. And I was like, this is a really cool vibe. But I told Greg, I think we should post this now and then wait to post the radio interview next week, because if we do 2 videos in a week, it's going to feel clustered. It's going to feel weird. I don't like that. And he's like, yeah, I agree. So he gave me basically another week to do that radio trailer, which I did.
Finally.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, that post.
It was just, that trailer was just hard because what I pictured, because I was talking with because I remember it was 2 weeks before opening night, and it was like a Wednesday, so I only had like a week and a half or so, and I was talking to Greg, and I'm like, hey Greg, I noticed that there's no trailer, and I didn't talk with Michael specifically, but I knew he wasn't like in the program as of right now, so I was like, hey, I know there's no one to do like video trailer or audio trailer, like last time. I was wondering if I can do something, I can help you guys out in some way. And he's all, oh yeah, if you ever want to put a trailer together, yeah, we can definitely use that. And then he was telling me, he's like, but I got to let you know though, there's only a week and a half left, so time is crunching. And also, Casey's like, he's trying to catch up because the crew, like when one person got COVID, they were out for a week, right?
Yep.
And then when they came back, somebody else got COVID. When they came back, somebody else got COVID.
Yep.
So it was really, really unfortunate. They didn't have the cast together until like the 4th week or something like that. So it was really unfortunate for them. But eventually, they were just catching up. So Greg was telling me that they were just trying to catch up from the production, and it turned out beautifully.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
The one thing I have about theater, I love theater. I love participating in theater, but
Right.
I put emphasis on I love participating in theater. I'm not a big fan of going to shows because I think I have something wrong with something's wrong with my ears. Because I cannot for the life of me watch a movie, watch a show that I haven't watched before without captions. I can't do it because I can't understand what they're saying.
Wow.
It mumbles to me, and that you don't get captions in a live production.
You don't. No, you don't.
So I'm sitting here, I'm like trying to, it's when I went to go see And Then There Were None, it's a layer of I don't understand what they're saying because I can't hear them very
Right.
well. It didn't help that you pushed me to the back.
Sorry.
But I was like, I couldn't hear them very well. And then it was another layer of them talking in British accents, and I'm like, I can't understand these.
Hey, those accents were good.
They were great.
They were great, dude. They were good. But back to what we were saying about the trailer. It was, and then obviously, what was good about the trailer though is that I knew the theme. I knew half the people who were in there. And it was it's a murder mystery, so it's obviously a thriller, somewhat of a horror, but it's comedic as well. And it's a nursery rhyme, so I'm like, perfect. Let me just use that nursery rhyme to use this. And I was like, I don't want to just like say it all in my voice, So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some of the actors. I'm gonna, just have them say lines and their favorite lines, and then call it a day.
Yep.
So I got that, and
I should put that in my pocket.
so it wasn't the biggest struggle, but the only struggle was, actually putting where everything's supposed to be together, who's gonna say what, and then putting it, and then eventually when I finalized it, perfect, it was clean. I finished it at work too, so.
You're like, I did it. Oh, you gotta go stalk something.
Because I would do it on my laptop, but my laptop was messing up for some reason. So I was like, you know what, screw that. I'm gonna just do everything again on my phone, and I did it, and then I had to go to work. So and it was a slow day, so I was on my phone somewhat, and then I eventually got it done, exported it, and then I sent it to Greg the next morning.
And that's when Greg probably sent it to me.
Yeah,
and that's when I got it.
Yeah, and I was obviously gonna do an audio trailer. That's kind of why it was nothing but subtitles, the video, because it was supposed to be just all black.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of like, I don't want to really turn in anything else, just a black screen, you know? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just add subtitles. Let's do it. And I did it. And then Greg was like, oh my God, thank you. Because honestly, I didn't even know what I was going to do for the audio trailer. Because he was really expecting an audio trailer, you know, an audio file or whatever. And then he told me he was going to get like a picture spinning or something, which I don't know how I was going to go. But then eventually he was like, oh no, he was all good. So I literally just had to send it to Disney and it was all good. So I'm like, yes.
I remember when I was doing the radio interview, there's no captions for that. All I got was an audio file and a few pictures of the posters and stuff like that. And he's like, show me what you got. And I'm like, all right. So I just took a couple of clips from it and put it into a video editor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I did at the end of it, I was like, well, this looks boring. And I don't know what it is, but this looks a little bit boring. I don't know what to do. Because at this point, it was just cycling through photos of the flyers. So what I thought was, I should give something to look at. So I wrote captions for the entire thing on the bottom. So that way, I explained it as a hearing impaired help. Because it's an audio video. So you couldn't just read what was happening or what they were talking about. So I made captions for it all, and I thought that made it look a little bit better because now you had something to read on the bottom, and you also had the posters showing. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think it helps out a lot more people than you think, the captions. So
that helps me at least. Like,
right.
I could not. I had to I rewatched that audio file at least 5 times over, so I could understand what they were saying at that point.
No, because there are some points where I'm like, what do they say? You know, but like
captions.
Right. And then I remember what's it called? And then now going back from the trailer, so that was just a struggle because I had so little time. I couldn't just go into like the room or them performing because obviously they're in rehearsal. They were working on other things, So I couldn't really do much. Greg did admit, and he was like, you should just go on Saturday and. You should, when they're not working, pull one aside, record their files, and then send them right back in. But I didn't want to bother them, this thing. So, I'm like, you know what? Hey, guys. Hey, I texted a bunch of people. I was like, hey, can you send me these lines and your favorite line from the play or whatever? Then eventually got all these files, put them together, made a thing. With that being said, everybody doesn't debut until 2 months from now.
Yep.
So I have a lot more time. I'm in it, so I have more of an idea what it is.
Vibe.
Exactly, because
who knew that dying could be so fun?
Apparently, that's the gist of it. You know, there's a lot of funny moments.
It gives me when Greg says that, it gives me like Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. He's like, death could be so fun.
It's comedic. It's somewhat scary, like just the idea of it.
I feel like if you took your kid to, it's like a Coraline sort of thing.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit spooky, but it's not meant to scare you.
Right.
It's just meant to make you a little uneasy.
I think it's just just be aware of things, and then there's in my opinion, I think it's peaceful, just the idea of it, like. That's it.
It definitely feels like a medieval play, though. It definitely feels like somebody
definitely
just pops up and they're like, hey, you want to watch a play?
Exactly.
So there's no intermission either. It's like an hour and a half play.
So I'm really excited how it's going to turn out. All the characters, they seem interesting. It's going to be hard, too, because, obviously, because I was also thinking about the trailer. I'm like, and then there were none. The characters play their characters.
Yep.
Everybody... They don't know what they're playing. The main characters, at least, don't know what they're playing until that night.
They've got a lot on their shoulders.
Exactly. So
especially, they've only got these certain roles that they're in the lottery for.
Exactly.
So at least they have that little bit of weight lifted off of them. But that weight of memorizing 3 big roles is probably really scary. Which I definitely understand that.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I definitely remember because it was literally a week ago. But one of the you made the biggest mistake of your life.
Sorry, what?
Oh, no, that's exaggerating, but one night during the production, I don't remember how it got brought up. I don't know how, when, where, why it brought up, because I never talk about it in front of people. But when we were doing a read through, somehow I think I was showing Bree Miraculous. And I remember you saw it, and then you started like, "What are you doing? What are you watching?"
Oh,
yeah, that short.
You're talking about Miraculous. Okay,
Yeah.
you said the biggest mistake of your life. I'm like,
Yeah, no, you're not.
did I kill someone? What did I do? Like, did I do something? Did I say something?
You killed your mental health by letting me meddle
Honestly,
in there.
no. You have a lot of love for that show. Okay?
I've been watching it since 2017. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan ever.
No, you're the biggest fan.
Those people.
You're the biggest fan. You're the biggest fan.
This show came out in 2015. I'm not the biggest fan. There are people that have been watching the show before it even came out. I feel like those people deserve a lot of respect for that stuff, because season 1.
How do you watch a show before it comes out?
They didn't watch the show, but the thing is, they were following a production team that was doing the show. Like, they're called ZAG. They're stationed in not Paris. I think they're just in France. But because it's a French show, you know. But the producer and the director was sending out little splices of the show and saying like, "Hey, we're making this. You want to watch it?" And everyone's like, "Yes, we want to watch this." And those are the people that I think are the biggest fans of this show.
Oh jeez, that's that. Honestly, that's not my biggest mistake. Honestly, that's not even close
It's
to
your
it.
biggest mistake with me.
No, it's not. It's really not. I just you rambling on your favorite show. Like, I'm not gonna stop you from that. Like, come on now.
People, I don't typically talk about the show either because it's meant to be for a younger audience. But here's the thing: I watched it when it was meant for a younger audience. But now,
Exactly.
I watched it in 2017, and in 2017, I was, 5 years younger, and I was 13? Mm-hmm. Was it 12? 13, 12? Around there. I was that age demographic at that time when I started watching that show.
I'm 12 in my head mentally always, so
Always.
You got me.
But now I'm 18, and I'm still watching this show that's meant for 13-year-olds, and I'm like, just please let it, please.
People, hey, we still watch Pokemon. People still watch superheroes for fun.
Yeah.
Like it's a normal thing at this point.
I mean,
like that's
it
not
is a superhero show.
It's not supposed to be for kids. It's just for anybody who enjoys it. You know, so. That's probably why all these like, you know, Marvel, DC, and everything like that is so popular, because it's just, if you enjoy it, it's you. It's not for kids. It's not for little kids. It's not for, you know, babies or whatever. It's for anybody who enjoys it.
It's nostalgia too. Like whenever, it's nostalgia too. Like whenever I know that every once in a while I like going back to old TV shows that I used to watch, like Adventure Time. I remember watching a bit of first season, second season Adventure Time, and just feeling the nostalgia of watching that show.
My favorite show, like that kind of era, was Regular Show.
Regular Show.
Regular Show was my favorite.
I watched Regular Show. I watched Adventure Time. I watched Amazing World of Gumball. I watched those sort of things. I was never a Disney kid.
No,
I never watched it. I watched like Cartoon Network. I watched that stuff.
Yeah, Cartoon Network and like, what was the other show? Boomerang.
Nickelodeon. I watched a little bit.
I didn't. Okay, so I didn't grow up with like that kind of. I didn't grow up with
Cable
Nick,
TV.
Disney, nothing like
Cable.
that. I grew up with Cubo. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yep.
Cubo.
Yep. Cubo. I had a period of time where well, it's still going, but we dropped cable because we weren't really watching cable TV.
Right.
So I just got Cubo. That's it. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
That, and also like I had an N64 and a GameCube. That's what I grew up with.
I had a Wii and an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One.
I guess 360 as well counts, but I grew up with like Super Mario Party, Mario Sunshine, like golf, soccer, like all that stuff.
I grew up with, I was an only child, so I didn't have much to do as a video game person. So I was only playing like single player games because my parents didn't like playing video games. So I played like, my favorite game was Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii. My favorite game. And I remember I showed you, I remember, but that's my favorite game from that. And then on the Xbox was the first time I got introduced to Minecraft and stuff like that. But video games aside, Miraculous, on that production, on one of the table reads, you made that mistake of letting me invade in there, in your brain, because that opened up a door.
I don't consider that a mistake simply because you're going on your favorite show. I would love to go on my favorite show. I just, you know, I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, not thinking about it, I don't really have a favorite show. But, like I would ramble on, like, The Walking Dead and stuff like that, you know? But It's
But
just whatever.
what happened is that, for context for people that don't know that what I did, when I was showing Bree specifically the show, because I thought she'd like it, because she likes nice, cute stuff, sort of thing.
Sure.
So I was showing her, and you're watching, because both Bree and I have earbuds in, because we're at a table read, and people are chatting and stuff like that, and we don't want to mess with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start watching, but with no earbuds, so you have no idea what these people are saying.
It's funny, and I low-key love doing that because I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these characters are. I don't know what the plot is. I just started making fun of it. Like I remember seeing like a scene where like they were being drawn away by some. It was like the storm.
Yes.
And then all the cars were going off, and then one of them hits them, and I'm like, she should be dead, but okay. Like
the part where she was spinning the yo-yo through the bus, that sort of thing. You're like, that she should be dead.
Exactly. I was like, bullshit. No.
And you were also telling me that she looks like off-brand Harley Quinn. I'm just like.
Did I?
Yeah, you told her. You said it was like it looked like Harley Quinn, the stormy weather lady, the one with the pigtails. That lady.
I do remember saying that. Like, what's his Cat Noir or whatever? He looks like an freaking
Catwoman.
Looks like an off Catwoman. And then I remember seeing the shirt with the colors. I knew that wasn't the LGBTQ colors, but I thought it was like some sort of like non-binary color.
It's not a flag. No.
Okay, they were just colors then. My bad.
Just a color.
But I was like,
just colors. I promise it was just colors.
Oh man, there's gonna be a whole nother episode with just cartoons coming up. Hopefully in the near future. But for this one, it's been a really. How long do you think we've been going on for?
An hour.
We've been going on for an hour and 15 minutes, roughly. So that was good. What we talked about a few things. We talked about Cyrano,
everybody,
theater. Work, I guess you can say. Your past experience. I'll take one thing from that. What's one thing you want to say if anybody does feel somewhat uncomfortable at work, somewhat in your position?
That works like in a job?
Works in a job and is going through something similar to you. Like what would you do? What's something you would say to that?
I would say that it's like that really cliche thing of it gets better, I would say. It's that really cliche of like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine in the future. Because if you went up to me in 2020 and told me you're gonna be working as a social media, like you're working on social media for Delta Drama and like you're part of this production and you're gonna be doing stuff like that, no, I would not have believed you. I would not have believed that because I thought I was just gonna go to college and just be done. I did not know that it was going to happen to me.
So it's going to get better? You're trying to say? It's
going to get better. Something good's going to happen.
I hope that happens for everybody. I hope everyone has something good happens to them. Happy ending, happy whatever. But yeah, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed. We talked about a few things here. Some insights in Cyrano, which is now, like I don't know how long old. It's up there.
It's November.
So a good 4 or 5 months old. So yeah, no, it was great though. But thank you, Destiny, for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. Anything else you want to say? Any last words you want to say to this?
I don't know. I like Legos.
Go ahead and we'll keep you guys updated on the everybody. Definitely will be something to tune in. One interesting play you should see. And yeah, that's been it. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Me and Destiny are out.